time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode of the Up North Journal podcast is brought to you by PSE Archery,
Buck Baits,
Better the Hunt,
Rebel 6 Rubs and Seasonings,
Easy Cut,
Limb Walker Game Calls,
Hunter's Blend Coffee,
Packer Max,
Fourth Arrow Camera Arms,
Scent Blocker,
Scent Lock,
Copper John,
and Stanislawski Release Aids. And don't forget, you can catch us in syndication at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on goodtalkradio.com. Welcome back to another week of Up North Journal live podcast here in the cabin with Dan DeFaw on a beautiful Sunday afternoon.
It is.
And before we get started, actually, before we start the show, I waved an envelope, and we got a question about this. So it's going to be our poll for the show. Do you ever fill out your DNR surveys that are mailed to you? Yes, I always try to do my part, or no, it really doesn't matter. So we want to know what you guys are thinking if you get those.
Yeah.
So, but before we get started, Dan,
That's better.
what do we need to tell the good people here?
What we need to tell the people is one more click. All right,
You're
so
still not done?
yeah, I don't understand what was happening. Good old Facebook.
Right.
All right. Anyways, good afternoon, everybody. Absolutely. As supporters of Up North Journal, we'd like you to check out our supporters themselves. You know what? You can go on over to huntersblendcoffee.com. That's right. We got it right here in front of us. We're drinking it. Go to huntersblendcoffee.com, and if you use the promo code, which Mike is pointing to, capital UNJ, on your checkout, you will get 10% off your order. And then when you're sipping that fresh cup of coffee, you can go over to Buck's Baits and check out their lineup of stuff that they have in, and if you use the promo code Up North Journal there, you'll get 20% off your checkout at buckbaits.com. And with this warm weather that it is outside, I was listening to the baseball game on the way over and grilling. Nothing better than Rebel 6 Rubs. And if you go over there to rebel6rubs.com, use the promo code North Journal, you'll get 20% off your order, and then you'll have some rubs for your grilling season.
I had some of that this week.
Yes, you did. No, you didn't have some. You drowned it in it.
Oh, dude, it was good. It was
There was a heaping mound of it on top of it.
It was delish. I used some of their wild boar rub on pork chops and actually on my baked potato. Sprinkle some of that on the baked potato and, putting that on the veggies. Man, that is the way to go. I didn't want to light it up with the dragon dust.
You didn't want to go that route?
No, I saved that for my popcorn. But was good. And then I had some leftovers the next night, same thing, and used it again. So it was really, really good. So who we got in the house tonight?
We got a bunch of people. Lincoln Roan, Tammy Delk, Terry.
I seen something there on Packer Max. What's going on there? I seen something there.
Oh, wait, what's this? Yeah, I just see it right now.
Lincoln Roan. He is in the cabin tonight,
and he's gonna give a discount out.
$25 discount off any model of Packer Max for UNJ listeners. So,
all right,
when you place your order over there, make sure you tell them that the guys from Up North Journal sent you over. Thank you, Lincoln. We appreciate that, buddy.
Absolutely,
that is awesome. Hopefully, everything's going good with Packer Max. Hopefully, things are rolling along. See what I did there?
I see what you did there.
It's getting to be that time of season.
I see what you did there.
I know
it is, but it's also show season.
It is.
And we took a road trip yesterday.
Oh, yes, we did.
We started off bright and early. We traveled southwest.
Yes, we did.
We went back to Indy.
It's always a good time to go to Indianapolis in the spring, this time of the year. It really did me a lot of good yesterday, just getting outside and going and getting into the outdoors. Even though we were at a trade show, but we made a pit stop along the way.
It was fun.
The way back. It
was fun because it was nice weather. We didn't have to worry about a snowstorm, rainstorm, ice storm,
all the above storms.
Insert storm that we usually have to fend when we go to ATA in January. It was clear skies. It wasn't a cloud in the sky till later in the evening when it was getting dark. Then you couldn't see the clouds. But it was awesome.
It was so nice that when we came out of the show about 4 o'clock-ish.
Yeah, 4 o'clock.
It was so warm as we were leaving. I told Danny, I said, I'm rolling the windows down because I want to be able to say we rode out of town with the windows down. And we did. And I almost got bit by a pit bull, but hey.
You're right.
You forgot about that, didn't you?
You're right. But we were able to drive with our windows rolled down yesterday. It was 54 degrees when we left Indy. and we just watched the temperature drop as we headed north. And Lincoln Road did see what you did there.
What's that?
Rolled.
Oh, rolled.
He saw it.
He got that. Okay.
He got it. But, yeah, what a show.
The first time you've been?
First time. You went last year, and you said, hey, you got to come on down to the show. Really unique setup being at the State Fairgrounds. It's actually different buildings, but, man, I almost say it. If you think about it, it's about almost, it seemed like a half mile long, but they connected the buildings with tents, so you really never went outside per se.
Well, David Boggs said if we'd have went completely to the other side where there were some other things that was like travel side, the travel.
Yeah,
things.
it went from.
He said it was a mile and a half away.
Mile and a half. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Because basically it was in a row. It was hunting and waterfowl. Then you had the boats. Then you had travel trailers. Then you had tackle and travel. So you could start at one end and just walk all the way through.
Yeah, there's 2 buildings of travel trailers and campers. So
yeah,
5 buildings to get from hunting and the hunting side over to the fishing side. And I'm like, why would they do that? And then Danny says, well, duh, because that's where most of your people are probably going to be. And we're going to drag them through so they can see everything.
That's right.
Yeah, foot traffic.
And we figured it out when we were having dinner, the setup and why they did what they did, because it made sense after a while. But Adam, when you guys going to the Outdoorama? Yes, we are. And guess what? Stay tuned. Talk about that right here. We will be there next Saturday. We'll talk about that later in the show.
Stay tuned at the end of the show.
Yep.
We got giveaways.
Yep. But anyways, that was just, it was nice. It was, people were waiting in line 40 minutes before the show even opened up. We got there about a half hour before and they were in line, but I was told they were actually there 40 minutes before the show.
Yeah. Well, last year we got there early. I got there at 9:00 to get in with the vendors, and there was lines that were like down the side of the building wrapped around the corner an hour prior.
Yeah. You said that.
I figured there'd be more people, but there wasn't.
There wasn't, but it was still, they opened we got in a little bit earlier, because we went and saw, we were able to get in early. We checked in. We were able to meet the guys at Katawi Archery, and Dan was there from PSE. They had a booth. They actually were sponsoring the wall,
the Indiana Big Buck Wall of Fame.
Yes.
What's it like when you finally get into a state that's got big bucks and you see a whole wall full of big bucks? I'm sorry, but we've been to the one here in Michigan, and the deer and turkey show here. The size of the bucks, man, is just incredible. I'm
not gonna lie, the wall was packed, and I can't remember the last time I went to the one here, but hopefully it'll be better. But it wasn't as packed. So,
and the size of the bucks,
yeah, they're pretty nice. So
I like big bucks. I can't
right, and I tell you what, it's a beautiful show. A really nice venue. It's great.
What do you think about the way it was? I mean, the way it was laid out, stretched out through the.
I liked it. You could actually sit there and you could say, okay, we could go, and we kind of did. We went and just looked at travel trailers. We sat down, took a little break, talked about the one that you bought last year because we were sitting in the one, the model that you almost purchased.
Yep.
And we talked about that, and we really weren't hassled either.
No.
In there, and it was nice. And we went and looked at different trailers, and if we hit the lotto, we'll be okay.
We hung out on a boat, and we didn't get hassled until about 20 minutes after we sat there.
Yeah, and then,
And it really wasn't a hassle.
No, she's just checking in with us, and we told her that we found Ken Cicluna's new boat.
Yeah.
And Ken, we got you that picture of that boat, and it's all ready for you. You just got to pay for it and go pick it up.
They're waiting on your signature.
All you need to do is sign on the dotted line. But it was really nice, and there was enough of boats and enough of campers that you didn't feel like you had to wait in line to get in to see that one of the only ones. There was plenty of stuff to meander through, walk. They had all the pontoons. You could all go sit on them. They had all the other boats, and they had salesmen there, but they weren't really pressuring you. You had time to look. They had everything from a life vest, life bumper, boat to
wet docks,
everything.
Raised
but
docks,
it was awesome.
sectional docks, boat lifts.
Right. And we went down into the tackle town, and you could anything tackle and fishing rod, they had it there. Looked like to me. And
Ken Cicluna had been with us. I think we'd have lost him there.
Yeah, we probably would. I think we would have seen him go that direction, and we'd have to eventually go after him because he was not going to come back. And it was just one of those things that it made for a few hours of just meandering.
The thing and they did this last year, and Danny seen this right off the bat because, like I said, we walked in. Once they opened the doors at 10 o'clock, he's like, "Okay, we've done what we need to do." We said hi to everybody. Let's go look. So we took off, and as we're going through out of the hunting building into the camper building, there was this kind of like big entryway, and there was 4 or 5 ladies there with bags and fishing poles. And they were handing them to every kid 12 and under got a free fishing pole and a bag full of whatever.
Yeah, it was like it was awesome. It was really cool. They had a whole table full. Obviously, when we came back through, the table was gone. So I don't know if they were just doing it that day or every day. But yeah, every kid under 12 was receiving a free fishing pole.
That was so cool.
And it was like, they had handed to them. And
it wasn't something cheap little something here. I mean, it was a nice open face reel and a nice rod.
Right, it was. It wasn't no.
It wasn't a Barbie or a Snoopy pole.
No, it was really cool. And then you'd see these kids walking around with these poles. And I didn't get it at first till we found that table. And I was like, oh, okay, this must be like the main entrance gateway that they're doing this in. And it was really cool. Those went fast, though.
They did.
They did. And there was a lot of people there. There was a couple of people outside. They were bringing in their bucks, and they were going to have them scored. They had a live taxidermy going on. Thursday, they said they watched a guy do a 10-point. There was 2 gentlemen there yesterday. One was doing another buck, and one was doing a waterfowl.
I didn't see the waterfowl.
Yeah, he was over to his left, and he was doing a mallard.
Okay.
It was pretty cool. And you could buy anything. They had archery, they had everything in there, and you could buy stuff too. It wasn't just looking and just walk through, but you could stop by. And it was awesome. It was a good time, and you could take your time. And if you, like we said, we met we caught up with old friends. We met up with David Boggs and company at Katawi, and seeing how they were doing, and as the morning grew, so did the crowd and the shoulder to shoulder thing.
Right.
So that was really cool, and we went and safaris. Can't think of the name.
Dries Viser.
Thank you.
Kobus and Alana Petra. I can't pronounce her last name, but they were there.
Yeah, and it was awesome to see them again. We hadn't seen them in. You know what? We seen them. Actually, I seen them last, and the last time I seen them was at Spot Shooters, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes,
I think it was last year at Spot Shooters.
Because I seen them at that show last year in Indy, and they were asking me. They were doing their Midwest tour of small shops of doing their presentation to offer big game hunts and book hunts and give information to people. And they asked, did I know anybody? And I directed them to Jim's place.
Yeah.
And that was the last time I saw him, and you seen him after that because I couldn't make the
right,
event that
exactly.
night.
So it was good to catch up with them. Found out that they were doing really well. Basically, all their 2020 hunts are sold out pretty good. And so they're actually starting to look down into 2021 for booking hunts. So that was good to hear.
Right.
And then you had everything. So it was kind of cool. It was good to see the guys from Easy Cut. And then from there, we moved on over and headed over. Mike and I went loose, and like I said, we went and looked at stuff, and it was kind of fun.
Yeah, Kobus and Alana Petrius. I think that's how you say their last name. But they're from Dries Viser Safaris. And go look up Dries Viser Safaris. If you guys are thinking about or wondering about what it's like to go hunt Africa, everybody we know has been with them. That's
Right.
Over there has been with them.
Right, exactly. And,
So.
and one of the things about them is we talked to them about this, and they do a 95% bow hunting. And with that being said, the average shot, he said, is 18 yards.
Now, we also are friends with Dave Wilkins, who does the same type of thing. He's based here out of Michigan to send people over there. Do you know, is most of his archery or most of his rifle?
Either
or.
I think you can choose over there. Okay. So, you can get with either one of them, and if you get your Africa on, and get over there. But yeah, it was awesome. It was good to see Dan Yassa. Got in there a little bit earlier, and you were able to shoot.
Yes.
You weren't able to. You were able to shoot the Nock on. The Nock on Nation bow.
That bow has finally started coming into the pro shops, and it has actually landed over at Katawi Range, and they had it there. So that was one of the first things that I wanted to do, was make sure that I had an opportunity to actually put that thing on the range. And actually, we got Danny took a few photos here.
Yeah, I did.
This bow, they set up the draw length. He said, "What's your draw length?" I said 27 and a quarter. I don't know if he set it to 27 or 27 and a half. I didn't expect him to get it right down to the bare bones, but it felt really good when I drew that bow back.
How's that 70-pound bow for you?
They told me it was 70, and I was actually a little bit concerned about drawing that bow back because I haven't drawn a 70-pound bow back in probably 10, 15 years, maybe. It's been a long time. Been a real long time since I've drawn a bow back with that poundage, and I had to pull it. I mean, I had to give it a little oomph, but it drew back. But what got me was, and we shot the NXT 35 or 33 at ATA, yes, which is basically it's the same bow without the John Dudley green and accents and the John Dudley little things that he's done, advise him on with the bow. But I always liked that. When the first time I heard that John Dudley Green, I was thinking of the song John Deere Green.
Right, that's exactly, you're right.
But no, the bow drew back really well. I mean, I was like blown away, and maybe it was because I had put a little extra into it when I was pulling it. But when it hit that back wall, I was telling you, we were talking about it on the way home.
Yep,
it's something that just went from there was such a noticeable stop, and it was just dead rock solid.
It's a nice bow to shoot, and
with
the
ECS cam on it, if it's 90% loft, I was sitting there holding 7 pounds. I mean, and I'm turning around looking at you, and we're talking about it as I'm at full draw there at one point, and it amazes me. Like I said, the ECS cam system. I mean, I'm at full draw, and I'm like, we're talking. You can just sit and hold it all day.
Right,
it shoots like a dream. Though.
It does. It does shoot nice. So that was good to see you shooting that. And one of the nice things was that they had the whole PSE line there. And one of the things I noticed a lot when I was standing over there, when I was talking with Dan, a lot of interest I see is starting to develop, which is good with the younger generation.
Right before we left, there was a young couple that had brought a child up, and the first question they said, "Hey, well, what's the?" And this is something I didn't know because I thought I heard somebody say, "Hey, Mike, what's the minimum draw weight for hunting in Indiana?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know." That's why we turn around to the older gentleman that we were talking with. It's like, he's from the state. Ask him.
35.
It was 35 pounds.
Yep. And what it was I was seeing more and more families. And that's one thing nice about one of these open shows is the youngsters can see it, touch it, feel it, and the adults can ask questions if need be. And Dan and company was there answering questions. And some want to get into it. Some were already into it. Some didn't know where to start. And Dan was there answering questions. And if they needed to, they could have shot him. So
absolutely.
Cool.
On that point, hold on to that point about the kids because it just made me think of something, and I want to come back to it. So we're going to step outside. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I want to chase a rabbit for a second.
Oh, so, I like chasing rabbits.
All right, we'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has reinvented the way you buy bows.
From now on, you can make the most educated decision possible
by basing your bow choice specifically on your shooting needs and goals.
All you need to do is ask yourself, what kind of shooter am I? What do I want to achieve?
PSE will help find the right category for you.
So, what kind of shooter are you?
Find out at psearchery.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Second segment of the show, talking about a road trip we made down to Indiana. Beautiful weekend to be outside. We were inside for part of the day, but man, you get to this point of the year, you've been cooped up a little bit. Yeah, we're shooting out, indoor archery league, and we do the show and everything, but still, it's like you want to start looking towards and getting your hands dirty towards deer season. You want to put your boots on the ground, get your hands in the mud, start doing things, and that's kind of where I'm at now.
I kind of got you primed up there by driving around your lease down there.
That was pretty cool,
right?
We'll talk about that here in a minute, but getting back to
about the kids, right?
The kids.
And so one of the other things that was nice about having all these kids there was a lot of it was busy and tight, but I didn't feel crowded.
Yeah.
So that was nice. It got a little crowded in front of the big wall of bucks. I get that because, that's... Yeah.
I regret not taking photos. I wish we had taken some photos we could have put up to show people, but man, it's one of the reasons why when I had the opportunity to go down there to hunt, I was like, "Yep, we're gonna do this."
Right. So so it was awesome. So you wanted to say something about the kids?
Yeah, you and I talked about this on the way home last night a little bit, and talking about getting kids involved in the outdoors. And I'm not going to say what organization, but there's a lot of these places that we do work with or partner with, and there's staffs, whatever you want to call them. You want to call them pro staff. You want to call it whatever. Advisory committee, what have you, to get people involved and be a part of something. Generally speaking, you've got to be 18 years old to be a part of a quote-unquote staff, because
I know where you're going. Okay,
because you can't sign a contract.
Yes.
Okay, and you had the opportunity to sit and really talk with somebody yesterday who was, I think, just turned 16.
I think 16 or 17.
16 or 17, and this young man was actually at my camp 2 years ago for a doe hunt and took a doe. And I had that same experience being able to talk to him about. He started asking questions about habitat and deer management, and then we showed up yesterday, started talking. You got the opportunity to have a little one-on-one with him, and I'm like, these are the types of kids. They're not 18, but how do you get them involved? And we ought to have some kind of junior staffs for these kids. Junior, I don't want to call them process, but some kind of affiliation with these companies to where they can start getting plugged in, especially these habitat companies, especially companies that promote habitat or wildlife research or deer management or wildlife management. Why can we not get these kids, somehow plugged in?
Right,
NWTF
exactly.
does it with their Jake's program.
Along those lines, why can't they do something along those lines that promotes at a younger age, generates the interest at a younger age into whatever they're promoting? Exactly,
because this guy that you were talking with, this kid's already food plotting. He's already done timber management, and he's 16, maybe 17 years old.
Right, exactly.
He gets it.
And what it was we were in the Backwaters Legacy booth, who, for those of you who don't know, is a camp down in Indiana where they send youngsters to outdoor camp, basically, and they teach them A to Z of outdoors, from shooting a gun to, I think they do archery, primitive, everything. So we were in the booth, we were talking, and I got talking to Zion, and he was telling me about the buck he got, and he shot it out of his dad's stand. Dad wasn't happy, which is fun. But
I bet he's dead.
But anyways, just listening to him talk about what he was doing, creating a small food plot, working it, planning it with brassicas and what he did, and then he showed me the pictures of a really green field of how it came up, and he loved it, and it went well. And then how he's got family in Kentucky. He's in Indiana. He has family in Kentucky. They're going to allow him to hunt there, so he wants to start over there as well. But he has talked about planting pear trees and other trees that he's planted, food plots that he's working on, and what he's done with minerals. And you could just see at his age the interest just brewing of wanting to do more for the environment and the animals. Because everything he was doing was absolutely, it was awesome. And in talking with him, it just wasn't I went out there this week, and no, he was planning on going back out in the next couple weeks to redo his minerals and get back out there. And he wanted to go down to this other property in Kentucky, and he wanted to go shed hunting to start looking to see what he's got. He was trying to get the lay of the land.
Kid's got it going on.
Yeah, he does. And so for your point, Mike, a Jake's program from NWTF is awesome. So now why can't another group?
Why can't these corporate groups do this?
Do this and have a junior whatever, just to start to plant that seed to say, hey, get involved. And
we're losing hunters every day. We're not retaining our numbers. Everybody says we need to get more kids involved. We need to get more women involved. I think we're doing good on the side of getting females involved in the outdoors. That's one of the fastest growing parts of the industry. But to get kids involved, when you've got young kids who are excited about something, get them plugged into like I said, a staff of some sort that mentors them along the way. You don't have to have them sign a contract. Put out a little monthly newsletter or something that they get in their email. It doesn't even have to be something that's published that you mail to them. If you don't want to spend that money, get them interested and plugged in, and give them information to keep going and be a part of something.
A simple newsletter with a tidbit of the month or something, or tree of the month. I don't know, whatever. If you're going to do it that way, But yeah, talking with him, it looks like he's got some future down the road, and it's even with Derek.
Yep, Derek Getson, the kid that I was hunting with down in Indiana this year.
Same way, youngster, and they're
just out of high school, and he's a bow mechanic. The guy works
fully engaged in doing that. Yeah, and he is in. And Tony's got him working the shop, and he's there, and he's doing it, and he's fully engaged. You hunted him with the week, and
the kids want to get back out on the property. That's something him and I talked about. It's like, well, when are we going to have our work days? These kids are clamoring to get involved in something. I really think if we've got that opportunity to engage them and get them on property to where they can do some work, whether maybe it's your property. You know what? I'm going to throw a challenge out. Everybody listen to the show.
If you got property,
get some of your local kids around the area that might some of your kids from your neighborhood, or maybe your kids as friends. Invite them to your property to do a little weekend workers bee thing.
And I tell you what, not even if you have your own property. Here's another thing that I see a lot of in this area of southeastern Michigan is we've got this public lands that is open to the public, whether you're a hiker, hunter, bird watcher, whatever. But I see so much junk out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Get out and go clean up area.
If there isn't a day you could go for a walk, and when you're walking, carry a trash bag with you and pick up. It's sad. I totally agree. You're supposed to. There's a saying about leaving only footprints, I think.
Yep, leave a place better than what you found. The only thing you should be leaving behind is your footprints.
Right, exactly. So, you can even do public lands and clean that up as well and work on that. So there's opportunities to get outside, get these kids involved, and it was nice to see, whether it be a fishing pole, getting them. They have the trout pond in the back. I saw one kid catching one, and as soon as he caught one, I heard another kid. He caught the person was on my right when I was walking by, so on the left I heard another youngster must have saw it because all of a sudden he wanted to go fishing and catch a fish. So it was just that whole attraction for that, and it was kind of cool. I kind of wanted them to have a grill right there and just kind of.
Yeah, we talked about that. Grill them bad boys up right now.
Right there, yeah. Let's eat them right now.
Have a snack.
We'll talk about fresh trout, but it was awesome. And it was a great show. Good to see them out there. Good to see the crowd out there. And it's coming into spring. And matter of fact, Lincoln Ronan is a perfect example that it's not. You start thinking about it because I know it's 54 degrees out there now.
Frost seeding.
You can do some frost seeding. You can start to mentally plan what you want to do with your piece of property. And I've done that myself. It's like, okay, what do I want to do with my dates that I got to be up there?
Exactly. Yep. It's that time of year. Well, I tell you what. Let's take a break because we ran a little bit long in the first break. We come back. I want to get your take on what we did afterwards when I took you around the property.
Oh yeah, okay.
Real quick, just to pick your brain real quick. So we're gonna step outside. We'll take a break. We'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has always dominated the speed category. Now, the most revolutionary cam system ever to hit the market has perfected the shooting experience. Introducing PSE's Evolve Cam System, featuring extremely high let-off capabilities and the smoothest draw cycle in history. No other cam system has ever delivered this level of total comfort and total control. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Welcome back. Third segment of the show. And we've got about a half hour. You ready to shoot tonight?
You know what? I'm ready to shoot. You didn't shoot last week. You were feeling ill.
And I apologize about that on the show. I was really down last week. I was not into the show.
Well, he didn't tell me he was ill until I walked in the studio, and then he told me he was ill. So I was all week washing my hands, drinking vitamin C. Yeah, it was a full blitz to prevent whatever he was trying to throw at me.
I felt better the next day.
So hopefully I got about another 3 to 4 days to know that I didn't get anything from
you. Didn't get nothing.
Yeah, well.
You're fine.
So we went to that show. Great show. Hope to go back next year. Matter of fact, I want to talk to some of our guys, sponsors, and see if maybe they're interested in going down there.
A lot of foot traffic. So, anyways, we left there about 4:30. We drove with the windows open. So we had to make a little left. Short story here. We had to make a left through the little neighborhood to get back to the main road. And there was a pit bull loose out, and Mike had his hand out, and he was trying to bait it, but luckily I just kept going. Yeah, I think you slowed down to see if you could get him to bite my hand.
Well, I slowed down because I didn't want to hit him. But anyways, but you said we're really close to the lease. Let's drive by it. And I said, okay, not going to lie. Let's go see what's up. Let's go see your lease.
One of the first things, we were then 3 miles, and you went, my God, this land is nothing but open. The wind's just got to howl across this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, you see that little thing sticking out of the trees over there, that tower? He goes, yeah. I said, that's like within less than a mile of the lease. I said, so yeah, this is what we hunt.
Right. And that was a few miles away as it was. But one thing I did notice about where Mike's lease is it's a lot of ag lands with pockets of woods, and there's no really, really, really big stands of timber. So you know where the ditch lines are, and you know where the creek lines are, because that's where the trees are.
Right.
And the only reason that they're there is because they probably can't plant them, or they probably would.
Right.
So as we started driving and going through all these brown fields, there was some little bit of winter wheat and stuff like that. But yeah, it was wide open. I mean, it was literally, you could see for miles, and you could see the windmills miles away, and it was open. And being a clear day as it was, yeah, it was easily to see that.
You know, it's not like anything here in Michigan that we hunt, or that I've ever hunted. Like I said, I'm used to hunting timber, and I've tried to explain it on the show, but I really wanted to show Danny, you know, the big drastic difference between what we're used to hunting here versus what we are down there. And that's why I'm still on this learning curve of trying to figure some of this stuff out.
Right, and my brother Terry will remember hunting Port Huron up there, and it's exactly the same way. You got big tracts of openness with little tracts of woods, so you know where to hunt.
Right.
It's a matter of if you can get there. A lot of it is private land there. I don't know how much public land is in the state of Indiana.
Very little.
Very little.
Most of it's in the southern part of the state.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there you go. So these tracts of lands that you're able to hunt on, obviously for private reasons, or in case of Mike, they have a lease where they can go hunt. It's basically you're hunting fields, edge of fields, creek lines, and small tracts of woods.
Yeah.
You know, you'd see a small tract of woods out there, and lo and behold, my guess is that's probably a hot spot for when it's hunting season.
Mm-hmm. Or when a coyote's getting chased.
So, matter of fact, if you ever want to see a coyote do the 100, well, this is probably about a quarter-mile dash.
Probably a half-mile run.
Right? Literally, what happened was he bolted out of a woodlot on our left, crossed the street, and the field was open for about a half mile to the wood line, and he was on a dead run.
I've never seen a coyote haul, but
yeah, he was
so fast.
He was literally booking, and there was nothing stopping him.
Yeah, I was actually hung out the window and barked at him. And
right.
That dog was just carrying the mail. He wasn't loping. I mean, he wasn't trotting. He was flat. I've never seen a coyote run that hard that far.
He was hauling butt across that dirt.
He's been shot at before, I guarantee you.
It would have been fun to try to shoot at that one.
Yeah.
That would have been unload the gun. But anyways, yeah, so we drove around. Do you know how big that square was we drove around?
Oh, it's probably 2 miles by 2 miles, I'm guessing.
So as we drove around it, you could just start to see why that, you know, going into this lease and going out of this lease is basically the creek that leads you in and leads you out with woods. Mm-hmm. Other than that, it's a wide open field of houses.
Yeah.
And there ain't many houses. So as we drove around, you showed me the creek bed and the bottom. We could see from part of the road, and it was...
yeah, we didn't get out and walk the property.
Yeah, no, we didn't do that.
Didn't have boots.
Yeah, didn't have boots. But yeah, it was just one of those things that you saw, and wow. It was... And you were talking with David a little bit, and it sounds like they're going to plant corn this year.
Yes, yeah. Last year was soybeans, this year will be corn, so now we're going to have even more cover.
Right, exactly what I was thinking. I was like, Wow. You might want to have the farmer call you the day or two before they're going to start cutting the corn, because then you're going to be wanting to be out there. Because when I hunted Wisconsin, kind of the same type of structure. The day they were cutting the corn, the deer were literally running out of the fields. It was just like, well, there they are.
Yeah, they've been hiding in the field all season long.
Right, exactly. So Mike was like a little kid in the candy store, just kind of getting giggly as we drove around this property, and
made me feel so good. And actually, we secured it again this year. We've got it secured for the year.
Right, so that was cool, and we got to see that. I got to see that. We saw some deer in some fields, which was good to see. It was nice to see they didn't have any snow, so the browse should be sufficient enough, I hope. I don't know what the deer density is like.
And there wasn't a lot of water on the ground either.
No, there was just a few
Not like
fields.
last year.
Okay, yeah.
Last year was horrible.
Right. So, and you're planning to go down there in the spring here, do some work days on there and get it ready. Mm-hmm. It'd be interesting to know any plans.
I bet you as soon as they can. I know up here it's generally right around Memorial Day-ish. Here in Michigan, they always tell you don't plant before Memorial Day because you got frost and it'll ruin things.
True statement.
Down there, I think they're usually, I would say by mid-May, it's the latest. They probably want to have their crops in the ground. I mean, I'm not a farmer. I don't know.
Okay. So, I hope they get them in the ground.
According to somebody, it doesn't take much. You just open up a hole in the ground, put seed in, plant it, and that's it.
Right? So
we'll let that dog alone.
Yeah, we'll let that one alone. But anyway, so we'll stay tuned for more on that, because when Mike starts doing that, I'm sure we'll hear all about it, because
I'm looking forward to it, man. I am so pumped up.
Absolutely.
I am ready to get out and get my feet and hands dirty again. And I want to take my grandson this year down there, and when we do some work days, just to get him involved and get his little hands dirty and let him see some critters and all that kind of good stuff. So
go see some critters.
Yeah, absolutely. So
but yeah, so that was awesome. I like driving around that little roads. And don't go off into the giggly weeds.
Right. So, other than that, good trip.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you liked the show. It was good that I was able to kind of give you a lay of the land of where I'm at down there, and able to maybe make some sense of what I'm talking about sometimes. So.
Oh, it did. It helps that now that I see it, I know exactly what you're talking about. So.
All right, I'll tell you what, we got a segment and a half left. Now, see, you've already started plinking away there, so I know what he's getting to. He's getting to this little piece of paper that's in this envelope I got here.
Yeah, the typical Michigan survey came out, I guess. Kelly's girlfriend, Gabby, received one in the mail, and I didn't. Kelly didn't either, I don't think.
This was mailed to me 4 weeks ago, according to the date on here. It's been laid on my counter. I've yet to open it. And we talked about this 2 weeks ago, right?
Yep.
We actually kind of didn't talk about it on the show, obviously, and we had some other things going on. So I've yet to open it for that reason. So
right, exactly. And Tammy caught you with this sneaky comment there, Mike.
Oh, the farmer comment?
Yeah.
Okay.
So everybody in Michigan, not everybody in Michigan got the survey, but they were sent out a survey, and it was your typical 2 pages, double-sided. The usual.
Are we going to go through this whole thing?
No. We're not going to go through this whole thing, I don't think.
You know what?
Unless you want to.
No, this is not the same survey.
Oh, is it? Let me see it real quick.
I guarantee it's not the same survey.
Oh, no. Ooh, you got this different one. Okay, hold on.
That's elk survey.
You keep talking for a second. I just got to look and see if something's in here. Real quick.
You want me to keep talking? What do you want me to talk about? It's not the survey. Well, we got a poll going on right now.
Yeah.
On our page. I don't know how many people's chimed in on it, but we want you to.
Okay, this is. Yep. I was looking for the same question.
Is it in here?
No.
Okay. I didn't think it would be. We got a poll going on. When you get surveys in the mail from the DNR, do you fill them out to do your part? Because, everybody should do their part. Or do you not fill it out because it really doesn't matter? So, I tell you what, we're going to save this one. If we got time.
Yeah.
I want to look this one over, and maybe we'll comment on that next week.
That was good, because I think it asks about guides and stuff for there. But anyways, with the guide with the survey for deer hunting being sent out, there was your typical questions that you had about where you hunted, how many days you hunted, what did you hunt with.
Were you successful? Did you do...
Right.
Yada, yada, yada.
There was a couple questions in here that kind of didn't throw me, but it was interesting to see that they were in here in a way that they're worded, and that I think they're digging.
Okay, well, go ahead.
All right, so not in any particular order, because I'm trying to blow this up so I can read the question. How much do you support or oppose creating a new extended archery season, which would be January 2nd through the 31st, in future years in the county where you preferred to deer hunt in 2019?
So they're not limiting it to an area. They're just saying
They're just
you want
saying
to extend the archery season for another month.
in where you hunted, would you like that?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it at all.
So there you go.
Are we talking about just standard archery equipment? I mean, did they say anything about crossbows? I'm not
it
opposed
says,
either way.
It says new extended archery season. So it looks like they want to extend the archery season all the way out to the 31st. So you would basically go from October 1st to January 31st with the interruption of gun season.
Okay, let's talk about this question a little bit here.
Yep.
My first thought would be, I have no problem with it. I would love it. Being an archer, we actually have had the opportunity. You and I have had the opportunity to hunt actually down here in the next county last month for the extended season because the urban is called an urban hunt, and I didn't do it because I wasn't going to go scout and set up stands and all that for a late season hunt. Now, if it was on my own property at our place up north, heck yeah. Because I already know the lay of the land. I don't have to go scout. I don't have to worry about other people being in there on it and taking a stand or trail cameras or whatever. So for me to extend my season, yes, I would absolutely love it. Now, there's other people who probably say, well, we don't need to kill more deer. We don't need to pressure more deer for another month. Honestly, how many people are going to go out and hunt that season? Everybody says that's an archer would say, yeah, I'd probably do that. Well, I'm the same way. I'd say, yeah, I'd like to do that. Well, realistically, I might get up for a weekend. That's going to be it.
Well, that's part of it too.
You're not going to take, and
some people limit out in October. They're done.
And they're done. Yep.
So, and then some people can't get out till December, depending on whatever situation presents itself. So that was a question.
Yeah.
So a question before that was an extended late archery season was held during January 2 through 31 in the Detroit metro area in the Macomb, Oakland, and Warren counties. That's the urban hunt you referred to.
Yep.
During the last 2 years, how much do you support or oppose continuing this extended archery season in the future?
I don't have enough information to make a call on that. If it was just going off gut instinct, I'd say I'm fine with continuing it because I've not heard of anybody saying, wow, man, deer numbers are really down in these counties.
And I think what they're also trying to go after is the car deer accident in those counties.
Right.
Well, I'm assuming.
Those are high traffic counties. There's a lot of people moving around, daylight and dark. In today's society, people work different shifts. So, matter of fact, my daughter, last week, she just got her new used car. The next day, she was out driving around. She went after dark to go get something to eat in town, and she had to stop for deer right down the street.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And we let them cross the road, and one of the deer actually didn't cross in front of her, walked up and bumped into her new car. She was not happy. So yeah, I support it unless we were having problems with deer numbers. I would say if we're really hurting our deer numbers, then I would say no, we don't need to.
And I think that's funny. They put those questions back to back. One, they talk about the urban hunt.
Yeah.
And then the next one, they say, what about in your area?
Yeah, extend it for the whole state.
For me, I only get up there so often. It might open the door if I need to get back up there or I would want to.
It also gives you the opportunity to go with somebody else. You could go with me or somebody else invites you to go to their camp.
Right.
You could go.
Right. So I don't know what they're digging for, and they're looking for the answers you can give is from strongly support to unsure, and everything from strongly support, neither, and strongly oppose, and unsure. So those are your options when you answer those questions. So those are interesting that they're digging around looking to see about length of season. We've heard a lot of comments about length of season already. We start our youth, our liberties, and everything in September, and we continue typically to January 1 with the urban hunts and some late seasons in January.
Right.
So, but of course, they had to have a CWD question here. This question asks about chronic wasting disease, which is a fatal disease of deer, elk, and mooses that cause degeneration of the brain. To what extent do you agree or disagree with the following statements regarding CWD testing in areas where CWD has occurred previously? Your answers can be from strongly agree to strongly disagree. A. Knowing the CWD status of a harvested deer is important to me.
Is knowing the status important to me? You're asking me as a hunter?
That's what they're asking. They're asking first a question, Knowing the CWD status of a harvested deer is important to me. So, do you need to know that those deer...
How long you want to talk about this?
Well,
I tell you what, let's take a break.
All right.
Because we're already running a little long, and let's come back and we'll answer that question.
All right.
So we're going to step outside, and we'll be right back after this.
Acceleration is part of PSE's DNA. PSE pioneered the speed movement. Now they've developed the vapor category to help you find the most powerful bows on the market to fit you.
High speed equates to intense power and building the momentum you need to be successful. Are you a vapor shooter? Find out at psearchery.com.
Welcome back. Fourth segment, last segment of the show. Wow. Are we going to spend the whole time on this one? Okay.
No.
Read the question again.
Okay, so there's a... Mike's ears are starting to smoke with that question.
He knows me too well.
Right. So, anyways, the very first question out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sub-questions to the main question.
We ain't getting through this.
No, we're going to try to get through this. Knowing the CWD status of a harvested deer is important to me. Yes or no? Or strongly agree or strongly disagree?
I don't know that I can honestly answer that because I don't have enough information. Do we know that it's... Generally speaking, I'm going to say, yeah, it's important to me. I would want to know if one had CWD or not, because if it did, from what knowledge I've got now, I'm going to say I probably don't want to eat that deer.
Okay.
That's general.
Now switch to B. Knowing the CWD status of a harvested deer is critical to my decision to hunt.
No, I'm still going to hunt. And if it's a CWD area, as long as I can get my deer tested. Let's just say that we're hunting in a high prevalence area, like one of those counties, 4 counties over there in, I believe it's southwest Wisconsin, where there's a high prevalence rate. If I'm going to go over there and do my part, if I'm a landowner or if I'm invited to hunt over there, and I'm going to do my part to try to keep things in check over there and keep that population down, if I'm going to take it and hope to eat it, I want to know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But is it critical to your decision to hunt?
No,
yes
no,
okay.
I'm still going to hunt.
Okay.
I'm still going to hunt.
Oh. Question C. If testing was not available and estimated CWD prevalence was low, less than 1%, 1 out of 100 animals positive for disease, I would stop hunting in that area?
No. I think I answered that in the last question. No, I'm not going to stop hunting.
Okay. Wait. Not done yet, but there's more. If testing was not available and estimated CWD prevalence was moderate, 5%, 5 out of 100 animals positive for the disease, I would stop hunting in this area.
Nope.
Sure, 5%. Okay, so no. All right, question E. If testing was not available and estimated testing prevalence was high.
What's high?
10%. 1 out of 10 animals positive for disease. I would stop hunting in that area.
I don't think I'd stop hunting. Now, hunting's different than eating. If it looked like it was sickly and I shot one in a high prevalence area, even if I shot one in a low prevalence area and it looked like it had something wrong with it, I'm not going to eat it.
So, with that, with what we just went through in the last 4 questions, they asked you about are you going to hunt? Your decision to hunt, and then the 3 questions after that were giving you percentages: less than 1, 5%, over 10.
It's not about a number. To me, the hunting part's not about a number. If you've got disease in an area, TB, has that stopped me from hunting in our area? No, and it fluctuates from year to year.
Yeah, it does.
I still check my deer. I look at my deer, and if it looks sickly, I make doggone sure it's going to get checked. But I generally have my deer checked anyway.
Okay. Would you be willing, last question, I would be willing to pay a nominal fee to get my harvested deer tested for CWD?
That's a loaded question. They don't tell how much. What nominal fee for me is totally different from somebody else who doesn't have.
Well, right now,
what's nominal?
Well, right now you can drop your head off in a box, right?
Yeah.
So it's no cost.
Yeah.
Now they're saying, hey, would you pay a nominal fee?
You know what? Here's the way to answer that question. Would I pay an extra $1 or $2 on a tag, or maybe an extra $5 on a tag, every tag I bought for deer hunting tag? Then it's spread evenly across everybody. Okay,
that's a good point. What if you added? Let's just pick a number, $1, because they charge $1 for ID fee or whatever it is too. They throw an extra $1 on the license. Whether you do or don't, it doesn't matter. It's incorporated in your license, and if you want to go get it tested, it's covered. If you don't, it's covered. But what's to say a nominal fee today is $1, and next year they go, well, we were kind of low. We're going to make it $5.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. No, we're not going to.
It's a slippery slope.
It's a very slippery slope. You're
now,
right.
I don't quote me on this, everybody. Don't hold me to this. I'm just saying what I think I remember one time I heard that these kits cost, I want to say, was it $17 a piece? Is that right?
I thought it was a little bit more, but it might be.
I know state to state there's different costs involved. I actually, do I have it here? This is the 2018 deer report. I want to say it was in one of these, the cost of the testing per state. Yeah, right here, page 18. Now, answer me this, little D. See what I did there?
Yeah, I did.
That's what Tim Sias calls them.
Yeah, he does. I like that.
Is it because of the sample rate that the cost is more or less? I don't know. State of Michigan, where are we at here? Is everybody's like hanging, going, come on, Mike, find it, hurry up. Actually, it doesn't have a cost for the state of Michigan.
Okay. So anyways, they're asking if would you pay an extra nominal fee. I think personally, like you just said, if they can come to a cost and roll it into the license fee.
Okay, here's an example. Like South Carolina, $90 cost per sample. But in Delaware, it costs $10 per sample. Why such a $96 in South Dakota? Most of them are like anywhere from $10 to $20 across the board is looks like the general rule of thumb. Texas says total cost $100 sample, including time, equipment, and lab fees. Okay, that's just not for the kit. So obviously, there's different factors that go into it.
Right, exactly.
So am I going to pay $100 to have my deer tested? No.
But what we just saw, it could range. The range could be but anywhere, but what they say is nominal fee.
Yeah.
That's a very loaded question because what they could say is, hey, everybody turned out positive in this survey. Okay, we're going to charge you, and here's the price.
Yeah.
Okay, one more CWD question because that's why I'm on this. This was way back in the beginning of the survey.
Okay.
If chronic wasting disease, a fatal disease of deer, I like how they put that. It's a fatal disease of deer.
Everything's fatal.
Right. So is a car.
Yeah.
Caused all meat processors to stop processing deer. How would this change your future deer hunting activities? 3 choices. 1, I would still hunt deer. 2, I would stop hunting deer altogether. Or 3, not sure.
Well, we know the answer to that because I've already told you what my answer was in the very beginning. I butcher my own deer anyway, so that has no bearing on what I do.
So take it from me. I typically don't have time to butcher my own deer, and I usually go to the processor. All of a sudden, they just now took all the processors in the state of Michigan and took them out of business. Smooth move. I think I could learn how to butcher my own deer.
Right.
It's not, yeah, okay. Hey, I got an idea. How about I ask Mike to show me how, and then I'll learn.
How about we do a live stream on it?
Well, that's what we would think, yeah. But in general, it's like, but yeah. So why would you ask a question? All meat processors to stop processing deer.
To me, it looks like a lot of these questions. I think they're gauging people's response about how far are people willing to go to keep hunting viable. At what point do people turn the switch off and say, I'm done hunting. I'm not going to do this anymore.
Right.
So,
and they do have a trail camera question.
Okay.
Do you use a trail camera to monitor deer activity in the county where you prefer to hunt?
Yeah.
And then what they did, there was another question. There was the next question is to list what animals you did see on trail camera.
Oh, yeah.
So they're kind of...
You always wonder, what the line of reasoning is of why they're asking whatever question it is they're asking, or series of questions. Because usually if you start looking at the series of questions rolling along, they tend to
Well, that's why I want. It's kind of interesting that they come up with the line of questionings. They ask about a CWD. What if all the processors stop? Are you going to stop hunting?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Hey, what did you see on trail camera, by the way? And then at the end, they're like, oh, by the way, if there's a little bit of CWD, a medium, or a lot, are you still going to hunt? Yeah. Oh, and with the interesting questioning this year, because it's like, come on, guys, just.
Well, I want to give a shout out, Tim Ford.
We talked about you yesterday, dude.
Your ears are ringing, buddy, because we actually were talking about you yesterday. So yeah, we're doing good. We're doing real good. We'll be talking soon. So,
but that's all I got. I thought they were intriguing questions. I liked how they put the numbers out there, and then all of a sudden they were like, "Would you hunt? Would you stop hunting? What,
Well, and I'm going to go through this one here. Actually, I really thought this was the same thing.
Right. Actually, it's a different color paper. So
it's
we'll have to scam the elk one, and
I'll do that
and see if you can come up with anything. Actually, Kelly and Gabby were filling this out, and they told me about it. I said, "Hey, send me the pictures and let me read these questions."
Right.
So basically, they're wanting to know, if so. Okay, so here's another real quick before we got to give away these tickets. If all processors were to stop and they quarantined every, like they're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't. So then I would have to take a day up in the UP to debone my deer. That's what I would have to do to do it.
Right.
And as a hunter, we talked about this at camp last couple of years.
Right.
And we're like, okay, we'll set up a part of the garage that if we need to, we'll make it into the chop up area and make it into the kitchenette area, and we'll take care of our deer and process them.
That's just what you're going to have to do.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It give me the problem, we'll figure it out.
Well, since you've mentioned meat processors, this story just broke here in Michigan. What's today? The 23rd, I think.
Today is 23.
Okay, this story is 2 days old, so this has been Friday. Missing deer meat leads DNR to warm freezer full of rotting carcasses. This is in Newaygo County. Lincoln Roan, if you're still...
Hey, Lincoln!
If you're still on listening, you might want to listen to this. A pair of DNR officers recently discovered approximately 13 rotting deer carcasses from a man hired to process meat for hunters. According to an official report, the incident occurred in mid to late January when the two officers from the DNR District 4 responded to a poaching complaint of a deer processor in Newaygo County not returning processed deer to the owners. When the COs arrived at the processor, they found that the business was in the process of closing permanently and that the power had been lost in the building. Furthermore, the COs located the rotting carcasses in the freezer, all of which were still being processed and packaged. The COs contacted the Department of Agriculture food inspector, according to the report, and the COs assisted with photographic evidence of the facility and inspection. The inspector closed the processor down, placed the facility on quarantine, seized the deer, and processed meat which was unfit for human consumption. District 4 includes Benzie, Grand Traverse, Lake, Leelanau, Manistee, Mason, Mecosta, Newaygo, Oceana, Osceola, and Wexford counties.
So the processor closed.
Well, he was closed down. They shut the power off, and now my question is: this was on the thread they were talking about. So actually, I think it was on the leg page that Lincoln runs. This is just another reason why you need to process your own meat if you can. Not everybody can. I understand that, but if you can, that way you're assured of what you're getting. Number one is yours. You know what process it's been through, that it's viable meat to eat, and that it hasn't been laying around on somebody's warm bench while they're cutting up other deer.
I thought that. I'm surprised that just came out now, because I would think people would start asking questions of where their deer meat is.
Well, that's how they did.
Oh, that's how. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was mainly people that had shot late season deer and took them to the processor. And somebody had said,
is there a name or a location? Lincoln wants to know.
They did not give it, and actually, Lincoln, I think this was on your page. Go back and follow up on it. But somebody said that they didn't want to give it because, beating a guy up is bad enough as it is already. But if you know somebody that's looking for their deer meat that didn't get it back, then
you might have found it.
You might have found it. It might be somebody that up in your neck of the woods, so to speak. But there was one gentleman that said, well, that's just plain laziness that people don't cut up their own meat. No, it's not. It's not plain laziness. Number one, some people are new hunters and don't know how to do it. Number two, maybe they don't have access to a place to butcher their own meat. You know, some people might live in an apartment complex and maybe they just have a small car to transport said deer back and forth and really don't have a place to actually hang it up and cut it up and process it and clean it properly. You know, maybe they don't know how to. Nobody's ever showed them.
Yep, absolutely.
Or like me, in a case where you shoot a deer and you hang it overnight and the thing freezes solid as a rock, and you don't have a heated garage where you can actually thaw the deer out. My wife's not going to let me lay it on the counter for a couple of days to thaw out.
Put it by the fire.
Yeah, so usually in those cases, and that's poor planning on my part. It's not the fact that I'm lazy. It's just poor planning of knowing we got cold weather. You know, sometimes you're in a situation that your back's against the wall and you have to take it to a processor. I've had to do that. I mean, I think I've had 2 deer processed in the last 10 years, maybe.
Right.
10, 12 years.
And I know the one was because it was frozen.
It was frozen solid as rock.
Right. It's like, all right, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so, you know, it's I don't know. They put out a survey like this. We get a situation like this. Unfortunate for those people that are going to lose their deer. But it's like, hunters are adaptable.
Yeah.
You know, but you gotta let us know what's going on.
Give the people information. Let them be prepared to make that choice.
Let us make the choice. Mm-hmm. Give us the information up to date. Don't kind of smoke and mirrors it. Well, you guys really don't like it if it's above 10%.
Yeah.
But yet your survey might say, well, we don't care.
I think they're gauging perception right now to see what people will actually tolerate across the hunting community. Like, what's an acceptable number? What will people tolerate before they say we're going to quit hunting?
Till Lincoln's head implodes. But anyways, no, that's it, right? It's like, tell us, give us the number. You know, let me know up in the UP what happened, and we'll probably find out here for a couple of months what happened. We had one a year ago. Did we find any last year? Down here, downstate. What did we do? Mm-hmm. We up, we down.
Yeah.
TB area, we up, we down.
Yeah.
Well, and you've had TB for
since 2002 is when they stopped baiting it in our area. I think it was 2002. But you know, yesterday we were down in Indiana. The subject came up on this. We're talking CWD, and there was a group of us standing around. And everybody's kind of talking about it, and the question was asked to me. You know, well, would you eat a deer if it was CWD positive? And I'm like, no, I probably wouldn't. I don't think I would take that chance because I know it's got something. Now, it's just, and I told you before the show, we were talking, I said, it's just like, you know, there's a certain amount of bugs or fecal matter in processed food from companies because it sits in big warehouses. Is it safe to eat? Yeah, it's not going to kill you. Is it good to eat? No, it's not good to eat that stuff.
That's why you temp your food.
But there's an acceptable level of certain things that you're allowed to eat, according to the government. You can take that any direction you'd like.
Right.
But my point is, you know, there's things that we eat all the time that we don't know about. If you don't know about it, you don't know about it.
That's right.
You know?
Absolutely.
So.
Exactly, Mike.
So all right. Well, we're bumping up. We got a little bit of a long show here. We got to get rid of some tickets here.
So we've got some extra tickets for Outdoorama next weekend.
We're going to give these away in pairs. And I want to thank Bill Parker, the publicist for Showspan. Actually, he gave us some tickets to give away here on the show and wanted you guys, the listeners and gals, to be able to go to the show. And what we're going to do is give these out in a pair.
Yeah, we got a couple pairs, 3 pairs of tickets. By the way, our friend Tim Andrews from Rush Outdoors is going to be giving a couple seminars on Friday and Saturday. Check his seminars out. He's going to be talking about Deer 101. It's an open mic thing. You can ask him any kind of questions, and he'll answer them. Or the other one he is doing is what are you doing now to get ready for deer season?
And actually, that's kind of what we're going to be talking about here in a couple of weeks. We're going to be speaking at the Frankenmuth Sportsman's Club. So
right, exactly. So with that being said, we've got 3 sets of tickets of 2 to give away. So
put your name in right now on the live stream, and tonight we'll check this.
Yep.
Okay, we'll come back and check it.
If we have more than what we got, we'll put your name in a hat and draw it. If not, I will PM you. Give me your address, and I will drop those in the mailbox tomorrow.
So that way they get to you hopefully before this weekend. Snail mail. Or if you're in the area here, buy us. And somebody we know then
We'll get 'em to you.
we'll get them to you.
Lincoln Roan, if you don't have your deer tested for CWD and you eat a deer, it could potentially be eating a deer with CWD.
Well, that's kind of the talk that we were going around with, Lincoln. It's like, what you don't know doesn't kill you, or does it? I mean, it hasn't jumped species yet to the human species, but Creutzfeldt Jakob is that same type of disease, and I know somebody whose dad died from that, and that's extremely rare. I mean, extremely, extremely rare, and I know somebody whose dad passed from that. So
and that's the thing,
and it sucked.
The other side question that I kind of throw out there is maybe we've been eating CWD deer
and don't know it.
Don't even know it.
Yeah,
you won't know it unless you're testing for it, obviously. So
the bigger problem I have with all this is a lot of the smoke and mirrors that's going on. I think people are fudging numbers one way or the other, and like we've always said, you follow the money, and that seems to be the case in a lot of cases. And I believe it was maybe Lincoln and I were talking, or maybe I heard him talk on one of his live streams, that I think the deer industry itself, the private industry, is the one that's going to figure this out, because they've got a lot to lose.
Exactly.
They got the hunters and the industry have the most to lose. If deer were wiped off the landscape today, and this was kind of brought up yesterday too. Well, the DNR have no job. Well, no, they'll still have a job because there's still natural resources to be managed. Whether it's deer, if there's no deer,
they'll just have to shift their focus.
The focus will be shifted to something else,
and then figure out why they lost all the money.
Yeah. So that's all I'm saying.
Yep. So
I'm always playing devil's advocate, I guess. I don't know. So.
Right.
But that's the show for the week, folks.
Tim, that is exactly right. My question is, how do we know that CWD hasn't been around for years because we're not testing for it till recently? Okay. That was my point.
All right.
Wish there was more testing stations in Livingston County.
Yeah.
So that's another.
Don't get me started.
I know, right?
We can go for
Adam,
a whole nother hour.
We concur on that one. So
that's the problem, is getting.
But we got to go shoot.
We got to go shoot. But we need people to put in your names if you want 2 tickets to Outdoor Rama for this coming week. We've got them here. Let us know. Put your name in the comment line. Say tickets. Say I want to be put in drawing. I want to go. Whatever.
Yep. I'll hit you up with a PM, and then give me your address, and we'll get them out to you.
We're going to be there Saturday.
Yep.
Evening ish.
Yeah, ish. Depending on, we'll be there Saturday for sure.
So if you see us and you're there, stop, say hello,
and remember
we'd love to talk to you.
And remember to check out Tim Andrews' Rush Outdoors, his seminars, talking Deer 101, open question, or what are you doing now for your deer hunting this fall?
All right, for those of you on the podcast, that'll do it for us this week, folks. Next week, we hope to be talking sturgeon spearing.
Yes,
sturgeon spearing in the great state of Wisconsin. So, y'all stay tuned.
And don't forget, you can catch us in syndication at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on GoodTalkRadio.com. This episode was brought to you by
PSE Archery,
Buck Baits,
Better the Hunt,
Rebel 6 Rubs and Seasonings,
Easy Cut,
Lim Walker Game Calls,
Hunter's Blend Coffee,
Packer Mac,
Fourth Arrow Camera Arms,
Scent Blocker,
Scent Lock,
Copper John,
and Stanislawski Release Aids.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe. Until next week on the Up North Journal.